Welcome to my channel, which largely focuses on emotional intelligence, or I like to say red pill. Instead of trying to chase happiness or buy happiness or hope for happiness, you create your own. Let's check out this comment I received on a video called, "Okay, I admit it, I'd be worried about going bald if I were you." And the whole concept behind the video is to truly empathize with someone is to recognize they have a different perspective and life experience than you. So you would think like the other person, not like yourself. And that's one of the principles taught in the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. So here we go. On that video, someone with the screen name of Alank83 had this to say, quote, "Create happiness, huh? Now that's the tough part," end quote. So that was his struggle, and it's a real struggle because what I call blue pill mentality is exactly the opposite of what I believe, the opposite of how I perceive the world, which is blue pill is I'd be happy if ... Red pill is I choose to be happy despite ... because I will find a way to overcome ... So here's the epiphany for this week. You know, I'm keeping things clean here, right? I'm making sure that I don't miss out on ad revenue, obviously, but at the same time, on how I normally speak anyway in person, I don't use such language. But I do want to reference the phrase SNAFU. And if you don't know what that acronym stands for, you can look it up, or I'll break it down in a censored way, and I'll say this: situation normal, all fouled up. You can imagine fouled as a different word. And to be fair, I think the original word probably serves this concept better because I'm one of the few people willing to acknowledge this fact. Watch any Netflix documentary where there's some kind of person who is some kind of serial rapist or child molester or whatever. You always find out in the end that the same thing happened to them when they were a child. And Joe Rogan's talked about this on his show as well. The ability to abuse another person like that is not normal. It comes from being exploited and traumatized as a child to do something so horrific as an adult. That's the reality of it. So to say the other word, that's fair enough. But again, we're going to say fouled up. But let me break that down. Situation normal, all fouled up. Okay? So think of situation normal, and this is a military slang term anyway, by the way, but situation normal. What's a situation normal? What does that mean? What's the default? So the default is everything's messed up. The default is everything's chaotic. You know people like this in your life, but you don't want to be one of these people in your life. Someone whose comfort zone, whose routine, who actually gets relief out of things being all fouled up. When everything's chaos, then they feel this is my identity, this is who I am. I know people like this, and so do you. And it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy that people will be in that situation. I've said many times before, after reading the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, I feel that one of the main themes of it is, as you talk to people, they either want your praise, they want that confirmation, "Oh wow, you did a good job," or they want your pity. "Oh wow, I can't believe that happened. I'm so sorry. I can't imagine what that's like. Tell me more." Praise or pity? Well, people who live in a SNAFU mindset, ultimately, that is normal for them. I know so many stories of people in my own life and my own social circles who continue to make toxic decisions. Why? Because they have a SNAFU mindset. What's the situation normal? What's the default? That everything has to be messed up, that things can't work out in the end, that there is no resolve. You know, for me, it reminds me of a song I wrote on here. Look it up. It's called What About Forgiveness? Look that song up. I want you to hear that song. It's one of my favorites that I've actually ever written. And in that song, I make mention of the fact of some people being covered up in tattoos as a way to try to deal with what happened to them when they were young. Or you'll see this with a lot of people. They'll have all these facial piercings as well. And that's to symbolize ultimately how they were traumatized and never got it sorted out. And it's a tragedy. And I say that specifically in the song. Again, check out What About Forgiveness? It's a song I have on this channel. So yeah, that's something I accept. I can't personally relate to it, fortunately, but I'm trying to sympathize and empathize with people in that situation. But I think closing thought is, it can be challenging when trying to help someone in a SNAFU mindset because they don't want help, perhaps. Perhaps they really just want the pity and the sympathy more than anything. And they're going to keep doing what they can do to get more pity and more sympathy because they need to be perceived as the victim. They need to be perceived as always having someone helping them through some kind of trauma. They may never get over it. They probably need professional counseling, which I can't give anybody. But it can be frustrating when you're the outsider and think, why do they always have to mess things up? Why do they always make these destructive decisions every time? Because they have a SNAFU mindset. Alcoholics, drug addicts. Is it just that they really like drugs and they really like alcohol? People want you to believe that, but I know better than that. I know that all of the alcoholics I've ever known in my life and all of the drug addicts I've ever known in my life, they all had something in common. Some kind of trauma when they were young. It never got resolved. So they turned to alcohol abuse or drug abuse or maybe pornography or maybe just giving into a depraved mindset where that black pill mentality. But certain things aren't normal as far as mindsets go. And SNAFU is not a normal one. It's crying out for true resolve, not just a cover up. But people in that mindset often, they cry out for attention in that way. And ultimately, it's almost like a red herring, or it's like a tease. They reel you in, the person who has a good, strong mentality, and try, because they know that you're a good person and you're going to try to help them. But then when you try to help them, they do what SNAFU people do and find a way to sabotage it and mess up what could have actually helped them. Because in reality, they know you're right. They know that you could help them. They know that if they change their mindset and change some of these behaviors and change some of these decisions, that they would lead to a better place. But they feel that they don't deserve it. Why? Because they have a situation normal that's all fouled up. It's messed up from way back in time, and they're not willing to go back in time and sort that out with a professional, or they're not able to, or they never thought about it, or they don't think that I need to do this myself. Sometimes we can't do it ourselves. And sometimes it does require a professional. But ultimately, if you're frustrated, just tell yourself, you can only do so much. They have to actually want to fundamentally change and have that resolved. The elephant in the room is they need to resort out what happened to them traumatically to them in their youth. Usually that's what it comes down to. And the fact that it's unresolved comes out in all of these toxic decisions based on a toxic mindset, a SNAFU mindset. Your comments belong right here.